I fucked up so bloody.
Like, you ain't got nothing on you right now. What would you do, fool?
Damn about that, fool. I got these. What the fuck? What the fuck? Where you at?
That right there is the last thing Zerael Rivera, known on the internet as Indian Red Boy, ever said on camera. He was 21 years old, sitting in his car on a regular Thursday afternoon, laughing and going live with his homie. Then someone walked up and changed everything. But before we get to that, you need to know who this kid was and what he did in the months before he died, because none of what happened makes sense without it. Zerael Dijon Rivera was born on February 14, 2001, and grew up mostly in Long Beach, California.
I fucked up so bloody. Well, we outside on blood.
If you ask the people who actually knew him, they would tell you he was not the kind of person you would expect to end up in the middle of something like this. His aunt, Jasmine Rivera, sat down with the University Times in 2022 and described a young man who just loved making people laugh wherever he went. She said he was goofy, caring, and full of energy. He played basketball at Jordan High School in Long Beach, collected shoes, put hot sauce on literally everything, and would randomly help elderly neighbors with their groceries and yard work without being asked. The big turning point in his life came when his mother, Shawana Rivera, passed away. She was his best friend, and when she died, his aunt said it left a hole in him that he carried every day after that. Zerael stepped up for his 4 younger brothers after losing her and took on more of a fatherly role in the house. But that same painful period also pushed him deeper into the streets. His aunt was honest about it. He found in street life the sense of family and belonging that he felt like he had lost. Over time, Zerael got connected to the Inglewood Family Bloods, a well-known blood set in the South Los Angeles area, with some accounts also linking him to the Hollywood Piru set out of Compton. How exactly he got from one to the other is something we will come back to later, because there is a street-level backstory there that matters a lot to understanding this whole case. But by 2021, he was running with a young man from Inglewood named Baby Capone, also known as Capone No. 3. The two of them were inseparable, going live together all the time, building a little following and chasing clout wherever they could. The rap career was just getting started. He began by hanging around a local recording studio with friends, hoping someone would let him record, and eventually someone did. He was posting content on Instagram, going live regularly, building momentum.
And another round. Huh. You give me the vibes.
Hey, you gotta die. Yeah. And I'm sorry. That's the second lie.
He was still at the very beginning of that journey when things went completely off the rails. Now, to understand what Zerael and Baby Capone did in May of 2021, you have to first understand who Nipsey Hussle was to that community. Nipsey Hussle, born Ermias Askedam, was a rapper from the Rollins 60s neighborhood Crips, who became one of the most respected people in South Los Angeles. This was not just because of his music, but because of the way he genuinely invested in the people and neighborhoods around him. He owned businesses on his block, created jobs for people from his community, and spoke openly about trying to break cycles of poverty and violence.
So I think that economics is the answer. Empowering people economically is how you really, really impact. But I don't know if it's about dropping a bag of money in the hood. I think it's about impacting culture in a way that, you know, the mentality changes.
On March 31st, 2019, he was shot and killed in the parking lot of his own Marathon clothing store at Slauson Avenue and Crenshaw Boulevard in South Los Angeles. His killer turned out to be a man named Eric Holder from his own set, who felt disrespected after a face-to-face conversation in that same parking lot. Holder was later convicted of first-degree murder in 2022 and sentenced to 60 years to life in prison in February 2023. After Nipsey's death, murals went up all over South LA to honor him. The one at Slauson and Crenshaw, right at the spot where he was shot, became the most important of all of them. People treated it like a sacred place. To disrespect that mural was not just bad manners. In the streets, it was understood as a direct challenge.
It was just disrespectful, period. It was like, how could somebody just scoop that low and do something like that after what happened, what type of person he was and what he was doing for the community.
So what did Baby Capone and Zerael decide to do? On the evening of May 11th, 2021, Baby Capone walked up to that mural and covered it in red spray paint, red, the color of the Bloods, right across Nipsey's face. He filmed himself doing it, posted it, and watched it go everywhere.
Capone, huh? Capone. Yeah. Wall banging Capone, okay. Yeah.
A local artist came out and repaired the mural that same night. Then, the very next day, May 12th, someone came back and hit it again. More red paint, more tagging, more disrespect for a dead man's memorial. LAPD showed up both times, and on the evening of May 12th, around 7:45, officers made an arrest at the scene and towed a vehicle, though no name was ever made public. Baby Capone was the one caught on camera with the spray can, but Zerael showed up in the videos from those same days, laughing and dancing near the defaced mural, and joining Baby Capone on Instagram Lives, where they continued to mock rival neighborhoods and Crips-affiliated areas. He was not hiding. He was in it with his homie, enjoying every bit of the attention. In a community where Nipsey Hussle is held almost like a hero, that kind of behavior does not just get forgotten. It followed them, and 2 months later, it caught up. After the mural incident, Zerael and Baby Capone kept posting, kept going live, and kept making diss content about rival neighborhoods on social media, something Hawthorne police would later name as a specific part of their investigation for 2 months. There is something important to understand about social media and the kind of street life Zerael was living. Every live, post, and location visible in the background of a video is information that someone can act on. On July 8, 2021, Zerael was parked in the rear carport of a large gated apartment complex at 14,124 South Chadron Avenue in Hawthorne, California. It was the middle of the afternoon. He was in the front seat of his car, phone up, on Instagram Live with Baby Capone. The two of them were just talking, laughing, the way they always did on Live. At some point, Zerael joked that he did not have a weapon on him. He was loose, comfortable, not watching his surroundings the way he should have been. Then everything fell apart.
Like, you ain't got nothing on you right now. What would you do, fool?
Damn about that, fool. I got these. I got these. What the fuck? Blood, what the fuck? Where you at? I'm at October.
Somebody had walked up to the car. Multiple shots were fired at close range. The window shattered and Zerael was hit multiple times. The people watching the live heard him trying to breathe, trying to say where he was, asking for help while the phone was still running. Then the phone fell and the screen went black. When Hawthorne Police and Los Angeles County Fire Rescue got to the scene at around 4:10 in the afternoon, they found Zerael slumped in the driver's seat and pronounced him dead right there. The Los Angeles County Medical Examiner later listed his cause of death as a gunshot wound to the neck, manner of death homicide, under coroner case number 2021-07982. The live footage spread across the internet within minutes. By the time platforms removed it, millions of people had already seen it or heard what was on it. News helicopters were over the scene within the hour.
Breaking news, a homicide investigation underway right now in Hawthorne.
Let's go to Desmond Shaw in Sky 9 with the latest.
Jeff and Susie, we're off of Chandran Avenue in the city of Hawthorne, and you can see Hawthorne PD. They are wrapping up their investigation. They're still taking some photographs. We watched the coroner just wheel the body away. It is a male in his 20s that was shot, and inside this car there are a lot of bullet holes inside that windshield. We zoomed in earlier and saw that. So they responded earlier this evening to reports of a man who was shot in the face and died at the scene. So again, coroners just wrapped up their investigation. We're watching the family over here on the side, very distraught, as you can imagine. I'll widen out and show you as well. Hawthorne PD has been having some kind of issues with crowd control. Down here on this corner, a large crowd is gathered, and they set up a skirmish line. So there was some kind of issue here, possibly with a confrontation. They're trying to keep people out of this crime scene so that they can wrap up their investigation. But a man in his 20s dead tonight after being shot in the face. Live in Sky 9 overhead, I'm Desmond Shaw. Jeff and Susie, back to you in the studio.
Mob James told Vlad TV he had watched the original unedited version of the live, and what he described was hard to hear.
And I broke down when I saw that little boy and leaning back, and you can see when the bullet hit, his nose started running. And
oh, you actually saw the real video?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
and
I didn't
and
see
you
that.
know, it was sad to see that just unfold the way it did, but some of these young cats need to see things like that, because they not, back in the days, they used to take kids to the mortuary. They used to show this photo album where where kids have been shot by different pistols, stabbed and all that, and died from. And it used to really scare kids. You know what I'm saying? They don't do that. They don't have that type of shit no more. You know, where we could try to scare our kids straight. So I think they need to get back to that, because watching that video, man, just brought me to just reality is cold. And to hear him say where he was at and trying to tell his homeboy, it was sad, man.
Yeah, he was still trying to talk. So he actually got shot in the face all those times?
Yeah, he got shot somewhere in the neck or something, wherever he was hit, and he was like this and had his arm up, and he was trying to tell his people where he was at.
Hawthorne PD Lieutenant T. Goetz confirmed to the Daily Breeze that the shooting looked targeted, describing it as a walk-up attack, where the shooter came in on foot, fired multiple times at close range, and got away before officers arrived. A few days later, when speaking to the New York Daily News, Goetz went a little further. He said the mural vandalism was one of the leads detectives were actively pursuing, and that Zeril's own social media content dissing other neighborhoods was also being looked at as part of the investigation. That was the most specific the police ever got publicly about a possible motive. And for most people following the story, that was enough. The narrative was set. That same week, the situation got even more complicated when rapper The Game posted an Instagram live freestyle that included lines about what happens to people who disrespect Nipsey Hussle. Given the timing, people read those bars as a direct response to Zeril's death and came at The Game hard for what they saw as celebrating a murder.
Accidentally posted that live on the wrong page, so I'm gonna put it on this one too. And speak on the situation that was brought to my attention this morning by the homies, by a gang of homies. Niggas in my DMs, niggas is upset, niggas feel away. I get it. Understand that I mean no disrespect, meant no disrespect to no Pyrus, no Bloods, no LA, no gangbangers, period. But speaking on the the Indian Red Boy situation, number one, RIP to the homie. Love to his whole family, his immediate family, his close homies, the whole Inglewood family blood card, and it's all the Pyrus, Damus across the world, period. If anybody felt a certain way or felt disrespected by, what I said, number one, I've been wrote them bars, and bars been in my phone since like May or April. And, yesterday I decided to put them, put it out on the live. Bad timing on my behalf.
The Game kept his word after that. He put $5,000 into the family's GoFundMe organized by Zeril's Aunt Jasmine and helped push it past the $10,000 goal. WAC 100 later said the donation had been his idea and that The Game came through without any hesitation. On the investigation side, Hawthorne PD detectives pulled surveillance footage from the apartment complex and the streets around it and kept working their leads. but no suspect was ever publicly named. No arrest was ever made. The press release from July 10, 2021 remains the only official statement Hawthorne PD has ever put out on this case, and the LA Times homicide report still lists it as an open, unsolved murder to this day. Here is where the case gets a lot more complicated than the viral version of events made it seem. Once the police mentioned the mural as one of their leads, the internet made that the whole story. But the people who actually had knowledge of what was happening in those streets told a very different version, and that version has never been officially confirmed or denied. The loudest voice pushing back on the mural theory was Mob James, a South LA street figure who has been on Vlad TV for years and who always had a reputation for telling things the way they actually were, not the way people wanted to hear them. He said plainly that he did not believe Nipsey's mural had anything to do with why Zureel got killed.
He had a whole different situation.
Was it over a girl or something?
Yeah,
or?
that was a whole different situation. So
what happened over the girl? I'd heard that also.
Well, him and the girl was messing around, and him and another dude they both was involved with the girl. The girl called or whatever. I wasn't there, so if I elaborate there, people gonna say, how the fuck he know?
Okay, yeah.
That was part of the situation. So it was over a female.
Isn't it always?
Yeah.
Isn't it always?
But, you know, these kids got to understand, man, times have changed. It ain't like it used to be. You know, times is worser, way worser. These kids don't understand where they're going with it.
A street-level breakdown of the story that circulated on YouTube after Zureel's death went even deeper into what Mob James was hinting at. According to that account, before Zureel linked up with Inglewood Family Bloods, he had originally come up in Hollywood Piru out of Compton. The reason he left that set had nothing to do with gang politics and everything to do with something personal.
Zureel used to be Hollywood Piru, okay? Used to be Hollywood Piru. What happened was, him and this nigga was both on the same female. It was no secret. She was a Tatiana. She gets around, they pass her around, and his homeboy even talks him to, hey, you nigga, go ahead, fuck on the hoe. It was said by that female that Zureel was talking real greasy about his partner, basically pillow talking. Basically just pillow talking. Okay. The female went and told Zureel partner, hey, say, man, saying this and that and third about you.
What followed was a fight in front of the whole hood. The homies around them let it go further than they normally would have because, as the account put it, everyone felt Zureel had it coming. After taking that beating, he walked away from Hollywood and moved to Inglewood.
So that's when homie went and approached Zureel and told Zureel, hey, so with all this other shit I've been hearing, you pillow talking with this bitch or something, you in your feelings or something? They end up getting into it. Boom, they end up getting into a fight. They got into a fight right there in front of the homies, right there in the hood. Zureel ended up getting his ass beat up. His partner put feet, nails, and elbows on that boy. All right.
Explanation on Indian boy's death part 2.
His partner put feet, nails, and elbows on that boy. All right. Whenever two homies is fighting and the other homies is present, they only gonna allow the fight to go so far. But in this situation, they didn't. Because they know that Zureel is tending to come down to these females. They know it. You deserve that little ass whooping that you getting right now. So Zureel partner did not get off of Zureel. Okay, for those who might be lost, I'm talking about India boy. Zureel is India boy. Zureel, that's his government name. All right, so whenever his partner got through whooping his ass, he felt some type of way, not only about the ass whooping and how it occurred, but the fact that the homeboy did not intervene whenever this shit took place. You feel what I'm saying? So that's when he said, fuck y'all, and went to Inglewood.
Now here is the piece of this story that hits the hardest. According to the same account, on the day Zureel was killed, the reason he was parked at that apartment complex on Chadron Avenue was that he was going to see a woman, and it was the same woman who had passed the information to his old homie in the first place.
And the crazy part about it was, right, when this nigga went to Hawthorne, Chadron Avenue, he was pulling up on the same female that he was pillow talking with, the same female that went and told Zureel partner the shit that Zureel was saying about him. He went up and pulled up on the same female. I'm not saying that she set him up. Y'all can put 2 and 2 together and come up with 4. Y'all can. But 60s did not have nothing to do with this man getting killed.
That last line matters. Nipsey Set, the Rollin' 60s, never publicly claimed responsibility for Zarril's death on any platform or any social media page. In the world these men moved through, when a crew retaliates for something real, they do not usually stay quiet about it. The silence from the 60s was something that people who pay close attention to those streets noticed and took seriously. Whack 100 said something similar in 2022, pointing out that Zarril wasn't even the main person in those mural videos, and that people had been putting blame on him for something that was really more Baby Capone's doing. He urged people to stop adding to the story things that were not there. The reality is that none of the competing theories have been confirmed, and the case remains officially unsolved. Mob James stepped back from all of the theories at one point and said what was really on his mind.
I mean, it seems so sad.
It is.
That someone actually lost their life for spray painting a piece of concrete.
Right.
I understand what it means, and I understand the symbolism behind it, but it's just a piece of concrete.
That's what it is.
He did not take anyone's life. He did not rape someone's sister or steal a bunch of money from someone and so forth. He was clout chasing, spray painting over a mural. It's very foul, but he also could have gotten set straight.
Do you think Zarril's death was really about a woman? Let me know in the comments section. Also, click on one of the cards on your screen to see more videos like this. See you in the next one.